The kingdom of Eldoria was glowing with excitement. The Grand Royal Harmony Ball, held once every decade, was only a day away. Banners of silver and gold fluttered from the castle towers. Musicians rehearsed their melodies, and the palace grounds buzzed with both humans and magical creatures working side by side. It was a festival of unity, a moment when the bonds between realms were celebrated with joy and laughter. Princess Vivienne moved gracefully across the courtyard, her radiant pink ball gown shimmering like morning dew in the sunlight. Her golden curly hair flowed down her back in soft waves, catching glints of magic from the floating lanterns being hung above. She paused to guide a pair of fairy decorators, gently suggesting a more balanced pattern. Her heart swelled with happiness, not just because the event was going well, but because her people were smiling. Eldoria hadn't always known such harmony. For centuries, fear and mistrust had lingered between magical creatures and humans. But Vivienne had grown up believing that peace was possible, and now she was helping build it. Among the special guests was a young unicorn named Leora. Small for her age, with a coat as white as fresh snow and a mane that sparkled like stardust, Leora had arrived with a delegation from the northern glades. It was her first visit to the royal castle, and though she tried to appear brave, Vivienne could see how shy and overwhelmed she felt. "Are you enjoying yourself, Leora?" Vivienne asked warmly, offering her a sugared petal biscuit. The unicorn nodded slightly, her luminous eyes wide. "It's beautiful, but so loud." "You'll get used to it," Vivienne said with a laugh. "Come, let's walk by the lantern trees. It's quieter there." But just as they turned to leave, a burst of chaotic energy shattered the peace. A swirling shockwave of magic erupted near the floating lanterns, sending them spinning wildly through the air. Several popped in brilliant flashes, raining glitter and smoke. Fairies squealed and ducked for cover. Startled creatures scattered. Vivienne immediately shielded Leora with her arms. When the noise settled, all eyes turned toward the unicorn. She stood frozen, visibly shaken, her horn faintly glowing. A murmur rose among the crowd. "She did it," someone whispered. "Her magic went wild." "She lost control," another cried. "She's dangerous." "No," Vivienne said quickly. "Wait, we don't know what happened." But the voices grew louder. Leora, trembling, backed away in terror. "I didn't mean to," she whispered. But no one was listening. The fear in the air was thick. Overwhelmed, Leora turned and bolted toward the garden gate, vanishing into the mist beyond the palace walls. Vivienne stood rooted in place, her heart pounding. Something was wrong. She had seen the look in Leora's eyes. It wasn't guilt. It was confusion and hurt. Later that evening, after the dust had settled, Vivienne paced the palace library. "She wouldn't do that," she said aloud, not on purpose. Something else happened. Her thoughts drifted to the Mistwood, the enchanted forest just beyond the kingdom. Old legends spoke of strange places hidden within it, and one tale in particular stood out in her memory: the Mirror of Echoes, an ancient relic said to reveal not just events, but the feelings behind them. It lay in a ruined temple, protected by fog and forgotten paths. Without another thought, Vivienne changed into a simpler cloak, saddled her horse, and rode into the night. The path to the Mistwood shimmered beneath the moonlight. The trees whispered secrets as she passed, and tiny sparks of magic hovered in the air, drawn to her presence. Deeper and deeper she rode, until the castle lights faded and silence wrapped around her like a velvet blanket. After what felt like hours, she arrived at a clearing surrounded by ancient stone pillars wrapped in ivy. In its center stood a crumbling shrine, the Temple of Echoes. Inside, dust danced in shafts of silver moonlight. And there it was. A tall mirror stood against the far wall, framed in silver vines and carved with runes that pulsed faintly with life. The Mirror of Echoes. Vivienne stepped closer. "Show me what happened at the courtyard," she whispered. The surface of the mirror shimmered, and slowly, an image began to form. Not just a visual, but an emotional wave that washed over her. She saw the floating lanterns, the crowd, Leora's nervous eyes, and then something else. A mischievous sprite, hidden among the decorations, had lost control of its magic. A surge of power had rippled outward. Not from Leora, but from the sprite's prank gone wrong. Vivian clutched her chest. Leora had been innocent, and she had run away believing everyone hated her. Tears welled in Vivian's eyes. "She needs to know the truth," she said, turning toward the exit. She didn't see the shadows gathering behind her. Suddenly, a soft crackle of magic whispered through the temple. A pale mist swirled near the entrance, and a shape formed. Leora. The unicorn had followed Vivian's scent, her silver hooves quiet on the mossy floor. "I saw the lights," Leora said timidly. I didn't know where else to go." Vivian rushed to her side and embraced her gently. "Leora, I know the truth now. It wasn't you. The mirror showed me everything. I'm so sorry you were hurt." Leora's eyes widened, shimmering with tears. "You believe me?" "I do," Vivian nodded. "And soon, everyone else will too." Together they returned to the palace, the moon lighting their path. When they arrived, Vivian called for a gathering in the courtyard. The court stood in silence as she retold the true story, showing the mirror's vision to all. The sprite, feeling deep guilt, stepped forward and confessed. The crowd, now quiet and ashamed, turned toward Leora with understanding in their eyes. Some bowed. Others offered apologies. Leora blinked in surprise, her confidence slowly blooming like a winter flower kissed by spring. That night, at the Royal Harmony Ball, the lanterns glowed once more, this time enchanted with Leora's gentle magic. The courtyard sparkled. Leora stood beside Vivian, no longer shy, no longer afraid. And when the first dance began, it was the princess and the unicorn who twirled beneath the stars.